Hey guys, I put you on this very impromptu sort of setup, which is totally not ideal because basically the camera is like balancing on a roll of tape. But so yeah, I just received a package. I'm too impatient to wait for lunchtime, which is just like half an hour longer for it to open. So I'm just quickly taking a little break during my office hours to open this one for you guys. But so beautiful, by the way. Look at this inside. So I've seen, like, I follow Becca from Becca in the Books and Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction, and they both very much like Whittard Tea. They very much like a specific Whittard Tea, and seeing them getting excited about that tea really made me want to check out their website. And when I checked out their website, I was very much intrigued about certain things in it. So I placed an order together with some friends to kind of make the shipping costs worth it. I'm going to be showing you my part of the order. I don't think that there's anything like state secret about their part of the order, but I just think that I'm not going to share their order without their consent, and I don't think it's important enough to actually want to get their consent for it, so let's just not include it. So, paper. Cats are not happy with this action. But so, okay, I'm gonna, so this is not mine, and this is not mine. This is not mine. Why is everything not mine? Here we go. First thing is sticky toffee pudding, hot chocolates. So I will include some close-ups because I actually don't think that the focus is set up for this one. But so I love sticky toffee pudding. I had it when I went to Scotland a few years back, and I absolutely loved it. And I don't understand why we don't have this dessert in more places. But so it is a white hot chocolate with caramel creaminess and things like that, so I'm very intrigued about that one, because with sticky toffee pudding I don't exactly think about white hot chocolate, so I'm interested to see how that's going to be combining itself. Number one. Second one, that is the specific tea that I was telling you guys about. So Dreamtime tea is the one that I heard Becca mention a lot of times, and she recommended it to Ashley, and she also got it and really loved it. And it's basically like Becca was saying that she loves this one so much that she never checks out the rest of the Whittard assortment, so I really wanted to try this one, especially since I'm mainly like a black tea person, and I'm trying to get more into other types of tea, but I'm just always drawn to the black tea, so I'm hoping that this one is going to be like a nice not black tea for me to enjoy. And then the biggest part of my order is this little bad boy. So this little bad boy is an advent calendar for Christmas. 2 years ago I also had a tea advent calendar from Palais Tea, and I really like having like a specific flavor every single day, and not really being the one who's deciding, but that way you also explore quite a lot of the flavors that a particular brand has. And so this one is quite expensive, it's like 67, 68 euros or something like that. So initially when I saw that I was like, whoa, that's way too expensive, because the one that I had 2 years ago was like a third of that price. But then I found out that this doesn't just have 24 tea bags as a normal advent calendar would have, it has 94 or something like that. It has like 4 tea bags a day, with the exception of the first day in which you also have an extra gift. But so yeah, I was like, okay, that's definitely worth it. So let's see, how do I open this thing? Okay, it's pasted shut here. I'm not going to like fully explore it, of course, until the 1st of December, but I am already going to open the doors. Look how beautiful. So all of these doors have you can pull them out, and then it has the flavors in there. But so obviously I'm not going to be checking that out until the 1st of December, which I'm now definitely waiting for. am picking up more or less from where I left off. I did have a day in between there, so I am actually almost done with a book that I actually started in the previous reading vlog, and that is Edgedancer by Sanderson. So I think I was like 70 pages in when I last updated you guys on Wednesday. It is now Friday evening and I am 40 pages out from finishing it. So this is a novella by Sanderson, though Sanderson's novella basically are like normal length books, because this is a 270 page book. So this is a book that fits in between Stormlight Archive 2 and Stormlight Archive 3. I am rereading this one and Oathbringer, the third book in Stormlight Archive, before Rhythm of War, the fourth book, is coming out on the 17th of November. So this is very much one of my favorite entries into this series. It is very short, of course, so I love it in a different way than I love the big tomes in this series. But so this is following one of my main characters, one of my favorite characters within the Stormlight Archive, so of course I'm going to love this one. So we are following Lift, who is a character to which we are introduced in the second book of the Stormlight Archive. We only get a very brief introduction into her, and so this book kind of explores her character a lot more, and then we will be starting to integrate her with the rest of the cast within Stormlight Archive 3. So highly recommend this one. Do definitely read it. I would definitely recommend you read it between book 2 and 3, which is definitely where you should be reading it, because it does contain some spoilers for book 2. But yeah, definitely love this one. I'm going to be so happy when I finish it again tonight. And then I'm going to be jumping straight into Oathbringer. I don't know how far I'm going to get into that one tonight, because I also am going to be watching the final episode of The Masked Singer, and probably that's more or less going to be it, maybe some booktube and things like that. And keep on following the US elections, because it is a tight race, and I'm hoping that we're finally getting an answer. Hopefully Pennsylvania will get like called tonight, because that would then mean that we know who is the winner, or like, we don't necessarily know already, but I mean, if Biden doesn't win Pennsylvania, there's still a chance for Trump. So I'm gonna hope that Pennsylvania gets called for Biden, so that we can stop this whole speculation thing for once and all. But so yeah, we'll just have to see how that unfurls. So it is Sunday afternoon, and I have gotten quite a bit into Oathbringer. So I think when I last updated you guys, I was still finishing Edgedancer, but so at this point I am 230 pages into Oathbringer by Sanderson, which is the third book in the Stormlight Archive, which I've been enjoying quite a lot rereading it. So I kind of forgotten, like, for people who don't know Stormlight Archive, it is an epic fantasy series, and basically we are following a multitude of people, but in every single one of these Stormlight Archive books so far, there's been kind of focused on one specific person, and for that one specific person you'll also be getting flashbacks to, you know, their past, to kind of get a little bit more of a hint of, you know, how that character turned out the way that they are within the present day timeline. And so in Oathbringer, the character that we're following is Dalinar. And so with the character of Dalinar, he's basically become a totally new person in the present day timeline versus what he used to be. Like, he used to be kind of a drunk, kind of rash, kind of impulsive. He would get into fights all the time. He was very much a sort of brute character. And then when his brother dies at the very beginning of the first book of Stormlight Archive, this is not a spoiler, he very much kind of grows up, you know, he very much kind of grows into a leadership role, and we very much see a sort of stately, respectable person who is very much a man of honor. And it's very interesting to reread this, so it's very interesting to read Oathbringer and kind of gets these two perspectives. We're seeing Dalinar from his past perspective, in which he's very much just numb to everyday experience, and the only times that he really feels alive is when he's out on the battlefield, and then looking at his present day perspective and the way in which he's changed so much, the way in which he's actually trying to suppress these sort of like battle instincts that he used to crave. And so in terms of the other characters, the book very much focuses on Dalinar, but I do definitely think that as far as my memory goes, there is quite a lot of Shalom in here as well. And I'm very interested to dive into that again, because I don't really remember too well what happens within this book with her character. And of course, Kaladin will always remain my kind of soft spot, but Oathbringer really isn't a great book for Kaladin, because there really isn't that much happening with his storyline, if I remember correctly. But I've definitely been enjoying Kaladin's parts a lot, because he's very much being challenged in his sort of beliefs, in his sort of prejudices. I feel like that has happened throughout, you know. He's very much against Light Eyes at the beginning of the book series, and we will dive into the reasons behind that in the first book. But he will also be challenged in those views throughout the series as he's getting closer to certain Light Eyes, as he sees how a person with Light Eyes, which is basically the nobility within this world, how they can also be decent people. And so now he's having to reassess his assessment of certain people who have gone beyond his notice until now. And so I've been really enjoying this reread, been flying through it so far, so I'm hoping to get to like I'm hoping to finish part 1 today, so to get to like the 330 page mark more or less, and then throughout the week I'm hopefully just gonna get to like 100 pages every workday, which is 100 pages is kind of my benchmark, but during the week, during the work week, I normally don't get it. I just catch up during the weekend. But I am hoping to be able to keep up to that pace throughout the work week. Well, we'll see. I'm also not going to push myself. Don't want to get into a slump, especially not right before we are getting the release of Rhythm of War. But so yeah, I'll just be continuing my read now. I am including now some B-roll from a clip that I filmed earlier today. So I filmed a read with me. So it's sort of like 35-minute video which you can read alongside with me. Basically, I didn't have any video planned for today, and that was like the simplest thing I could do, while it was also then going to be like combining things that I wanted to do today, basically reading a whole lot of Oathbringer with something that might be enjoyable to you or not. So if you're struggling to focus on reading, why not go over to that video and read alongside with me. Clio here. It is Tuesday evening, and tomorrow I have a day off. It is not a personal day off, but it is a bank holiday. So tomorrow we celebrate Armistice, and so I have a full day off. I'm gonna be so happy with that one. But so I just received 2 packages, and I'm gonna be very angry if one of them is damaged, because this guy tried to get it into my mailbox. Apparently it didn't go through, and then he rang my bell and just like disappeared immediately. And the reason was because it was stuck in my mailbox, so I'm gonna hope that no damage was made to it. That's fine. This is so... I am already so happy about this. So, by the way, before I get comments about buying more books again, so I feel like I've been pretty okay about it. I only added 1 book to my TBR in October, which I immediately read as well. This month I'm going to be adding 2 more, I guess, in that package. But this one is one that I've already read, so it doesn't count for my physical TBR, and it is so gorgeous. I'm definitely going to include some clips of this so that you can appreciate it in its full glory. So this is the illustrated edition of Northern Lights, the first book in the His Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman. Basically I was ordering something else when I came across this one as a possible pre-order, and I was like, yes, didn't know it was coming, but absolutely need this one. So it is here, and I'm so happy. I definitely want to reread it at some point. Maybe I'll make it a goal for next year, you know, because often I'll just wait for it when the time is right. But I guess it would be just perfect to just do it as they're coming out, you know, and that way just keeping up in at that pace. But yeah, as I said, I'll include some B-roll of me actually going through some of the pages in here. And then the other one is my subscription box normally, and I have been pretty good about not spoiling myself for this one this month, but I did see what was in there somewhat. I saw that there are 2 books in there. One of them I recognized, the other one I didn't recognize, and so I also didn't like look any further. The first one I just immediately recognized after like just less than a after just a glimpse of less than 1 like second of the cover. But so let's dive into this one. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I am subscribed to the Books That Matter book box. This is a UK-based book box. It has like a feminist book in it usually. It has like books that the book that's supposed to be in there is supposed to be an impactful book. And you also have a couple of extra added items to it. What I very much like about this one so far is that the added items very much are like usable items. And they're like not necessarily linked to a specific fandom. They're sometimes linked to the book within this box, but they're not like linked to other fandoms. So I feel like that makes them a lot more like usable. But so yeah, let's dive into it. Alright, and there seems to be this sort of like unspoken rule that you don't open the books first. So let me just go with that as well. But so the first thing that I'm going to show is the spoiler card. So basically just, I saw it it seems like a couple of book boxes are doing this now, having a sort of like book leaflet, like having a sort of like spoiler leaflet rather than having just like a card that has everything on there. So this one just has the theme on it, which is he or her, and then inside you'll have like information about the different people who supplied items within this book, an interview with the author of the book usually as well, and then some further info. There's also a link to a sort of book club, I think, for if you want to discuss the book that is in here with somebody, then you can do that through their book club. So first of all, a very interesting one, and one I'm definitely going to be using is a face mask. So yeah, that's who would have thought in 2019 everybody would have been like, you're giving us a face mask in a book subscription box, but now you're like, oh nice, a face mask, and it's so beautiful. So yeah, that's the face mask. Such a beautiful look for the camera, I'm sure. The one thing that I would say is that I'm missing is that it doesn't have the iron in here for the nose, so that would make it a little bit better. Hope you could actually hear me through that, because normally like it's a little bit more difficult to understand people through face masks, so maybe that wasn't the smartest things to do. But so yeah, I like that one. I think it has like, it's sort of like a silky fabric, so it does feel very nice. Don't know like how warm it would get after a while, but yeah, that's a problem that you have with all sort of cloth bound face masks. And so the face mask is designed by Elizabeth Rachel. Then I'll also go into the other item that's designed by her. So this is a notebook. It says "She is fierce" and it's got this beautiful tiger print on it. And then of course it's just a fully empty notebook inside, which is nice because that means you can use it for whatever you want. Next we have a couple of art prints and a bookmark. And these are designed, I'm dropping the box, and these are designed by Talk and Tell, and they are the theme of the month: he or her, girl power, empowered women empower women. Very much love that art style to it as well in this one. And then a bookmark, loud feminist. So very much liking these ones. It's a very beautiful art style, and I will definitely use some of these. So those were the sort of like functional gifts that are in here. And then let me move on to the books. So there are 2 books in there. One of them I know, which is this one, which is going to be a very short, quick read, but that's just fine because I was actually already intrigued about like getting it at some point in time, and that is Greta Thunberg's "No One is Too Small to Make a Difference." So in case you're not aware, Greta Thunberg is a Swedish girl, I think. So she is still in high school at this point, I think, as well, and she kind of originated the whole sort of like student climate change movement, in which she would do like school strikes every week, in which she would kind of protest the lack of action being taken to kind of try and prevent or kind of try and slow down climate change. And so this is, I believe it is a collection of speeches that she has given, and yeah, I think she's a fascinating character, and I think she's done so much to make this issue aware and to put this issue on the map. So even though her name can often be included in sort of like ridicule by some people, they are probably just jealous because they have not been able to achieve what she at age 16 or something like that has been able to do. So definitely think she's a very admirable young lady, and so we'll definitely want to check out what she's been saying in her speeches. And then the final book that is in here, which is the main book for this book box, I haven't heard of, so I will actually be reading out the synopsis to you, but it is gorgeous. And so it is The Inland Sea by Madeline Watts. In the early 19th century, British explorer John Oxley traversed the unknown wilderness of Central Australia in search of water. He never found it, but the myth of the inland sea was taken up by other men, and over the years search parties walked out into the desert, dying as they tried to find it. 2 centuries later, Oxley's great-great-great-granddaughter is reeling from her over self-destructive obsessions, drinking heavily, sleeping with strangers, wandering Sydney streets at night, and navigating an affair with an ex-lover. She works as an emergency dispatch operator, tracking the violent floods and fires that bloom and rage across Australia during an increasingly unstable year. Reckless and adrift, she prepares to leave. The Inland Sea is a fierce and beautiful novel about coming of age in a dying world. Interesting. So I'm guessing it's definitely going to tie in with Greta Thunberg's book, and it's going to explore climate change, going to explore global warming. And I love that it has a sort of background of, you know, the great explorers of our past, and that maybe we'll be doing some exploring as well throughout this book, or be having some like flash forwards, or maybe even have like a dual perspective from her great-great-great-grandfather as well. So interested to read that, and I don't read a whole lot of novels set in Australia, so I also definitely want, so I'm definitely also looking forward to that change. So I haven't heard anything about this novel. I will say that I hadn't even seen it, so when was this published actually? It's a new publication. It was published in 2020. Yeah, I haven't seen much about this yet, but it definitely sounds intriguing, so definitely happy with this addition to my bookshelves. This is the worst angle. This is the worst angle ever. But I'm so lazy, I don't want to set up my tripods. So I'm beat. I'm beat, guys. You know, I told you guys I wanted to go on more walks and to hold me accountable. So I just went on a 12-kilometer walk, probably. And my legs are really hating me right now. But so, okay. I'm happy that I did it. I got to see like the fall colors, because I was starting to fear like my laziness was going to prevent me from having a nice like long hike in the woods, because I love the woods, you know, the woods is really my place. So cat is apparently now, no, don't do that, don't. This is a very precarious tripod situation. But so yeah, the woods are really like my place, and so I'm so happy that I still got there. And actually on Sunday we're probably gonna go for another hike. It's kind of unsure at the moment because apparently we're only allowed to go hiking with 4 people, and so multiple people have said that they're okay with going on a hike. So we're gonna have to split up if we want to go on a hike. So who knows what will happen, you know. I can also totally see this ending up with some people being like, yeah, but I don't want to choose with who I'm gonna go on a hike, and ending up not going after all. But so my day started quite interesting because the electricity was down, and then I'm gonna still blame it on the electricity being down, but when it was back up, I accidentally restarted my computer because I needed it for a Sims update before I remembered that I hadn't saved my edits on the video that was supposed to go up today. So I spent my morning redoing that editing work and then exporting it exporting and uploading it to YouTube right before going on that hike, so that it would be ready for me to start the subtitling part of it when I got home. So I was out for quite a bit of time hiking in the end, but I did get home around like something a little bit after 5, and then I had to do the description, all those things to the video, and then I have been basically and then I started making food, which means that it is now past 7, and I have yet to start today's portion of Oathbringer. Now I did read already, you know, I read to the point where I would have ideally landed yesterday evening, but so preferably I'm still gonna read 120 pages at this point today. We'll see. You know, I did start around this time, even later on Monday, and I didn't get to the 100 pages that I at least wanted to get to, but I still got to like 80 pages or something. So I'm hoping that I can still get quite some traction in this book tonight, especially since we are a little bit more further into the story, and yeah, I'm definitely enjoying my reread for this one. But I'm also like getting kind of impatient with it a little bit because I like want to dive into the new book, even though it's not here yet. So like it's no competition or anything like that. But I have this weird illogical feeling that the sooner I finish my Oathbringer reread, the sooner I can start Rhythm of War. And it is of course true that the sooner I finish my Oathbringer reread, the sooner I can start Dawn Chart, right? That's the novella. So maybe that's also part of the reason why I'm like suddenly anxious about it. But okay, but so yeah, I'm gonna be continuing with that. I'm gonna try to get rid of this Sunday feeling. It's Wednesday, but so this will be the end of my reading vlog today. So this week was nothing but Oathbringer reading, I guess. I mean, like I also did some. This reading vlog has been nothing but Oathbringer, and there will be a change to that, hopefully, next reading vlog, because I am planning to finish this one on Sunday. But so yeah, I hope you guys are staying well, staying safe, and see you guys for the next one. Bye!